Hello and welcome back to another episode of Anchor TV Interviews. Tim Yean, sports manager for Anchor TV, as always, back again for another great episode of this really blossoming series as we wrap up April. Today, I have another member of the Ducey Media e-board here. It is Kelcy Conroy, new editor-in-chief of the Anchor newspaper, formerly, or about to be former managing editor. Kelcy, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show, and congratulations for being the last new member of the U-Board I have to interview today. So, after 2 years as managing editor, you now take the top spot in leading the newspaper. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. I was a little nervous at first, but now I feel like, in my experience with managing editor, I feel like I'm going to have everything under control, and I feel like this is a good next step for me, and I do like these leadership opportunities because I learn a bunch of skills.
Right, and you have been here with the newspaper since your freshman year. What first sparked your interest in joining the newspaper, and what motivated you to run for managing editor and continue on that path of growing and eventually being committed to, actually running?
So I first joined the Anchor in my freshman year, and I was just very interested in the idea of a college newspaper. I think wherever I would have ended up going, I probably would have joined a college newspaper just because I was very interested and I love to write. So I started out as a staff writer my freshman year, and then in the middle of the year, I got promoted to assistant arts and entertainment editor, and after our arts and entertainment editor became managing editor, Ollie, I ended up becoming the arts and entertainment editor, and it really just went up from there. I ran for managing editor at the end of my freshman year, and I ended up getting it, and it's been a pretty good 2 years as managing editor, and now as I go into my last year, my senior year as editor-in-chief, I'm hoping to kind of inspire these writers and editors the way they've inspired me.
Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. Throughout your time, actually, this is kind of a follow-up question of writing for the newspaper as A&E, assistant A&E, managing editor. Has there been any notable articles that you've put out there that you're really proud of?
I have a couple articles that I am very proud of. I covered one of the Rick Symphony Orchestra concerts, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Right.
I've also covered a bunch of events around campus throughout the years, and I'm pretty proud of my articles there because I've put a lot of work and energy into them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You've been doing such a fantastic job. I just wanted to applaud you on that. Over the course of your time here at the Anchor, or actually before we go through that, tell me about some other opportunities, outside of the Anchor and maybe even outside of campus that you've had the opportunity of being a part of.
So I'm kind of known as the person who's in many organizations.
I remember back in the, I think, new student committee.
Yeah.
There was something like you're like every single club.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty funny getting to know that. But continue on, please.
On the topic of Ducey media organizations, I am also a part of Anchor TV.
Right.
I kind of had to take a little step back from it this year, but I hope to do a lot more next year. And I also am part of the Alpha Sigma Tau sorority, and I've had leadership experience there. I have been basically the equivalent of vice president and treasurer, and there I've learned a bunch about leadership skills, and I've really attributed those leadership skills to my daily life and leading different organizations.
Right. So now on to the question I wanted to ask, or this next question. Over the course of your time at the Anchor, what have been some notable changes throughout the course of the year or overall and the work you've done with outgoing editor-in-chief Ollie Barone that you want to highlight?
So we have actually done quite a bit in the Anchor this year. We've really kind of honed in on our print editions, and we're going to try to do more of that next year, and also just getting the members very involved.
Right.
We have a very involved lot right now, and I think it's just very helpful when your club is like very involved in what they're doing and very like sophisticated.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
there's so many roles to fill with the Anchor newspaper as the sort of eyes and reading of the campus.
Yes.
So, if you want to like highlight a couple of the key
Yes.
players that you've been able to meet and been able to build those
Yes.
connections with throughout
Definitely.
the newspaper.
Yes. This year we've actually done quite a bit. One of the people I was going to highlight and I want to highlight is Jack Doyle. He's making our website currently, fixing our website, and he's done a pretty good job with it. I'd like to highlight all of the e-board, like we've done amazing, Ollie and I, but also Alana Carroll, our secretary, and Paige Marshall, our treasurer.
Right, and they've all been doing such a fantastic job of doing what they need to do as part of their respective e-board. Alana does a great
Yes.
job with the
Emails.
emails, with all the dog gifts, all the pet gifts
Yes.
that are included. Paige gets us our money, gets
Yes.
us going in time. So it's really a shout out to all of them for helping to
Definitely.
make the newspaper really shine and be what it is right now.
Yes.
Continuing with Ollie, what has your relationship been like with them, and what have they taught you about the editor-in-chief role for when you eventually decide to, or when you eventually take over that once Ollie graduates?
So Ollie is a pretty good friend of mine, and they've also been like a really good mentor to me. I've kind of followed the trail of them moving up positions.
Right.
Like when they became managing editor, I became the I became the arts editor, and I've just really kind of followed that, and they've taught me a lot about leadership, and I've followed their example. They're a pretty good leader, and I'm very excited to see what they end up doing.
I mean, Ollie's still going to be around, not as much
Yes.
in graduate school. They also got apparently like a award yesterday.
Cap and
So,
Gown Award for the
right,
English department.
English department. Shout out Ollie Barone, and shout out
Woo!
to Ollie's episode, Anchor TV interviews. I love promoting that, and I love promoting everyone else's because I need viewers. I need to justify my paycheck. If Elias is listening to this, please pay me. But anyways, what are some key initiatives or plans that you have for the Anchor this upcoming fall, or maybe even the summer as we get planning, as a seaboard?
So definitely over the summer is recruitment. We have a lot of graduating seniors this year. Also shout out to them. And it's just going to be about getting a bunch of new members, filling our editor positions, filling our distribution manager, like filling the staff. It's going to be getting a lot of people, but I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people who are interested. And during the fall, it's kind of just honing in more on our print edition. Our outgoing layout editor, Elias, he gave some very insightful tips on the print edition and how we should have more of it. And I think it's just very good advice to follow. And I think that we can make that our goal.
And if we've kind of done some early recruiting already. You don't have to tell me,
Yes.
but because I was there with you for new
Yes.
student orientation. But just tell us about that. Back in I believe March or April, and some of the new potential recommits that you've met.
Yes. So we had accepted students day in March, I believe, and we had a bunch of incoming RIC students, very interested in the Anchor. We've even had some people who have wanted to apply right then and there at that moment, and it was just a very good experience. And Tim, of course, has his influence.
I guess there were like a lot of people that were from Cranston.
Yes.
That knew me.
Yes.
So, if my influence somehow affects the Anchor, I'm more than happy to claim that.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, a bunch of new people we got to meet, and now on to my new role your current role as managing editor. So obviously that'll be another spot to fill, sports editor,
Yes.
which is a very, very lovely role I've had to take on. Are there any tips for me as I prepare to become managing editor?
I'd say just try to stay on track with the articles every week. You're very good at that already, but like, just try to stay on track, and it's okay, like, to slip up sometimes. Like, always ask for help if you need it. Just, it's a very low-key position. Like,
Right.
you'll do good with it.
Right, I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yes.
the little tips. And we also, I almost forgot to mention this. I was literally writing this last night. But Steph Machado, how much
Yes.
has Steph been able to help you, or how much can you expect from Steph to help you elevate to the editor-in-chief role?
So Steph has been awesome. She's our professional advisor, and she's just been very awesome with giving tips on articles every week. She does her weekly critique, and she's just like, she is someone who I can trust to ask for help if I need it.
Right, right. Steph Machado, reporter for the Boston Globe, for those that are sort of out of the loop. She is awesome. I can attest to that.
Yes.
All right. Last question for you today, Kelcy. I feel like you've been preparing for this one ever since I sent you that email.
Yes.
Who in the real world, can be on or off campus, would make for the most intriguing or entertaining Tomodachi Life character?
I have two. Tim Yean
Okay.
and Drake May.
Drake May.
Drake May.
we have a Drake May banner in the Anchor newspaper
Yes.
office. What was the? This is my last question. What was the motivation in getting that?
So there was a very wide support of Drake May during the season, and
From I think it's mainly from me.
yes, mainly from Tim. And I told Tim that if the Patriots won the Super Bowl, we would get it. However, the Patriots did not win the Super Bowl.
Unfortunately.
But, however, the Seattle Seahawks do not exist. So, therefore, we got the banner.
So winning by not existing.
Yes.
I will take whatever excuse we have for the Drake May banner. If you want to look at it, join the Anchor newspaper or
Yes.
any of the Ducey media organizations. But that's all the time we have here today. Here once again for Anchor TV interviews. This has been Tim Yean, Anchor TV sports manager and future managing editor for the Anchor newspaper. I don't have to say sports editor anymore. Here with Kelcy Conroy of the Anchor newspaper, the new editor-in-chief of the student newspaper. Once again, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you for the next episode. Take care.